Ken Trahan along with Lenny Vangilder. It's our First NBC Bank weekend preview brought to you by First NBC Bank with 35 locations throughout southeast Louisiana and the Florida Panhandle and growing. Might be coming to you next. Stay tuned wherever you might be in this great country. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNOLA.com. Start with the Saints. They got OTAs getting started, so finally a gathering. Putting everybody together. Andrews P., the only guy that might not be there initially. No worries about that. But the bottom line is that here's your first look at all of your goodies, all the presents under the tree at one time.
And they're in shorts. So it's hard to, it's hard to take a lot, especially some of the key spots that you talk about. With some of these rookies, these are guys you need to see in pads, okay? Guys like Pete when he does get here. And again, that's a thing that involves Stanford's academic calendar that he's not allowed based on the collective bargaining agreement, not allowed to fully report outside of minicamp until the school semester is over. Stephon Anthony, you want to see him, actually hitting somebody, same kind of thing. So, now quarterbacks, you can see them throw. So when we do get around to that, I mean, the media gets a chance to see, but in a couple of weeks you get a chance to see during minicamp exactly what you have, in a potential new backup to Drew Brees, and perhaps somewhere down the road the heir apparent. Who knows? So, but that said, look, it's just one more reminder that football season is closing in.
It certainly is. Look forward to it. As far as the Pelicans are concerned, the coaching search is on. If they go soon, it will be somebody that's not still busy, which means that would rule out the likes of Alvin Gentry or Tom Thibodeau. If they wait, then those guys become real options. The latest names linked, of course, Jeff Van Gundy, whose name has been mentioned frequently. And apparently he did talk to Pelicans officials, which several sources are now reporting. And in addition to that, Scott Skiles' name has been brought up, although he seems to be a target of Orlando, too. So as this search continues, Lenny, do we have any closer idea or any answers perhaps on the horizon?
Well, the place to watch right now is Chicago. Are they indeed going to part ways with Tom Thibodeau, which would turn him into an unrestricted free agent, if you will? If that happens, let's see where he goes there. Is there clearly something? Obviously, I think the Bulls were holding out hope that somebody's going to come in there and say, we want to talk to your guy and we're willing to offer you X, Y, and Z if you will allow him to be released from his contract and come be our coach. And clearly that's not happening. So basically, if they realize their bluff is being called, so to speak, then, and he is indeed released from his duties there, then it's, it could really, the interesting thing there is the guy is such a good coach. Does somebody else say, you know what, we're going to let our coach go so we can hire him? So do other NBA teams become a part of the coaching frenzy, if you will, to try and land Thibodeau? Now, obviously, you don't let somebody go unless you know you're going to get him. The Pelicans have that opening, the most coveted opening that remains out there of the three at this point. Stay tuned.
Of course, the other name that has been linked is Fred Hoiberg, who seems to be a top priority of the Bulls if, in fact, they do something with Thibodeau. So, indeed, we'll be watching very closely to see what transpires. College baseball and regional play begins. Louisiana Lafayette is in the Houston Regional with a tough bunch there, but, boy, they're playing well at the right time of the year. And then, of course, there's the Baton Rouge Regional where LSU is the top seed. Tulane is the third seed. Tulane gets UNC Wilmington. Good story by Lenny about Rick Jones and his ties to this regional. Wilmington doesn't have overwhelming starting pitching. It's a chance for Tulane. And, of course, LSU is a prohibitive favorite over Lehigh and really a prohibitive favorite to win the regional.
They are. They should be. Now, the thing you have to be concerned with if you're an LSU fan is this. Do you have enough pitching to get through a regional? Obviously, the plan appears to be at this point split up Friday's game against Lehigh rather than spend somebody. And you've got, in your mind, two solid starters to be able to go Saturday and Sunday. But what if you lose a game? Now all of a sudden you're having to play 4 and possibly 5 games to get through a regional. Do you have enough pitching to be able to get through that? The reasonable answer is yes, they do. But those guys who maybe haven't had to step up in a big situation are now going to be counted on to do that. So that's, LSU really needs to be able to get through this undefeated. And based on, how the schedule the rest of the way plays out, they should be okay in that regard. But this, the potential of having to play 4, possibly 5 games in 3 days, that's where you've got to watch it.
Certainly something that bears watching, and we will most certainly do that. The New Orleans Zephyrs finishing up a homestand on Thursday, on the road beginning Friday, and some more movement on their roster as the Marlins are in a bit of disarray right now.
They are, and that's obviously what dictates your success or lack thereof sometimes at the minor league level, particularly at the AAA level, because that's where the majority of your moves are going to come from from the big league front. You're going to be sending guys down and bringing guys back up. It's all about health. It's all about success at the big league level. And we've seen some moves there. Good night Tuesday night for the Zephyrs. 2 shutouts in a doubleheader. You don't see that very often. But again, you gotta the consistency of your roster. As you keep that roster consistent. That really goes a long way on both the major league and the AAA level of having success.
VooDoo on the road, they play at Tampa. Second time they've been there this year. Got whipped 42-13 the first time around.
Tough challenge, and really now with the way this schedule is backloaded with road games, there's a lot of tough challenges the rest of the way. So just gotta strap up that chin strap one more time and go out there, and you never know what may happen on any given Saturday night or Friday night or whatever the case may be.
Last but not least, high school sports. My story that I had last night, Jim Ravanack steps down as director of the Louisiana High School State Wrestling Championships. That's a tremendous blow to the sport. He's not only run the event completely, totally, and with autonomy, with his own volunteers, he's not charged a cent to do it. It's a tremendous loss for the president of USA Wrestling, who tendered his resignation while he's in South Africa with U.S. Olympic Committee as we speak. So not a good situation at all, and Eddie Bonine expressed that. He really doesn't want to see this happen, would like to see something done, but he said he cannot get out of the contract that was executed with the Shreveport-Bossier area for the event for the next 2 years.
This is a classic example, and we hear it at the NCAA level a lot about how it's, the NCAA is all about the members, and the members vote on things. This is the same kind of thing. The executive committee voted to award this championship to Shreveport-Bossier. It wasn't somebody in the LHSAA office saying, we want to go there. But Eddie Bonine is the one that is now responsible, and his staff responsible for executing what was voted on by the executive committee on behalf of the entire membership. And the unfortunate, if you will, circumstance that results from this is now you lose this huge base that you had built up in New Orleans over the course of basically more than a decade, with a 1-year exception of hosting this event here, and the leader of that being Jim Ravanack.
We'll see how that plays out eventually as well. Lenny, have a good weekend, and again, stay dry, man.
We'll do the best we can. We'll see you on Monday.
All right, that's our First NBC Bank weekend preview, brought to you by First NBC Bank, with 35 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana and in the Florida Panhandle. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNOLA.com. He's Lenny. I'm Kenny. Have a great weekend, and God bless you.